Joining us now is Ojinika Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
I always wonder when you use Jinx or Ojinika or how are you? Good morning.
I'm good,
you look dapper and your gray was fantastic.
Thank
I was
you.
hanging out with my lovely lady right here. How are you? We had a great time. Good morning. Good morning, Rafai. We missed you last week. I hope you had a great trip.
Oh, yeah, great.
Fantastic.
Wonderful trip, yeah, great.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, tributes continue to pour in for Member of Parliament David Amos, whose shocking death at the hands of a knife-wielding man at a church where he was meeting voters reopened questions about the security needs of Britain's members of Parliament. In Haiti, the police on Sunday accused the 400 Mawozo gang, a gang known for brazen kidnappings and killings in the country, of abducting 17 missionaries from a US-based organization. 5 children, including a 2-year-old, were believed to be among those kidnapped. In France, hundreds of people, including Algerian protesters and their descendants, on Sunday commemorated the 60th anniversary of a bloody police crackdown in Paris during the final year of Algeria's independence war. With its colonial power, the tribute march was organized in Paris to honor the victims of the October 17, 1961 massacre of the Algerians. Under sports, fans of Manchester United over the weekend used the hashtag #OleOut globally to call for the sack of the club's manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, after Manchester United lost 4-2 to Leicester City, reducing their chances of lifting the Premier League title this season. Finally, under entertainment, a Soyuz space capsule carrying Russian actor Yulia Peresild and film director Klim Shipenko landed from space on Sunday after a 12-day stint in the International Space Station to film segments of a movie titled Challenge. Challenge, which is part of a large-scale scientific and educational project, is the first movie made in orbit. Well, let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the Wall Street Journal report alleging that the Nigerian Air Force paid Bandits 20 million naira in exchange for an anti-aircraft gun, which the Nigerian Air Force has since denied. The Wall Street Journal had reported that the anti-aircraft gun was stolen by the Bandits after a clash with a military unit in Ragu Forest in Katsina State. According to the newspaper, the gun posed a threat to President Muhammadu Buhari, who was flying to his hometown about 80 miles away. The Air Force described the report as an utterly illogical allegation and claimed that it could be part of a campaign to further cause insecurity in Nigeria. Well, let's take a reaction from Rolla, who wrote, "The only problem is that when you have a pattern of denying stories, only to accept them later, then it becomes difficult to accept the denial at face value. Credibility is an asset to be protected." Rufai, I'm coming to you on this story because I'm not sure you've had a chance to comment on this story. But I just wanted to tie in this allegation to the current UN report because I just feel like it's all the same, where they said 500,000 Nigerians are at the brink of starvation. I mean, I just wanted to talk about, I believe that the report is detailed. I know that the Nigerian Air Force has denied some of the allegations, but I just feel like some of those other allegations cannot be denied.
So concerning the UN report, I think the number is even more based on the insurgency that has gone on for over 10 years. People displaced, internally displaced people in this country keep increasing by the day. 2 things we can't take away from that Wall Street Journal report, even if the military has rebuffed it and refused it, is the fact that you have a lot of arms and ammunitions in the hands of non-state actors, number one. All right? Secondly, there are reports and intelligence reports on ground that non-state actors have more arms, probably than what the state will have. And I'll make references to, I think, Dr. Kabir. He normally comes here and he talks about armed proliferation, and the number of arms swapping in this area is really big deal. Third thing we must have to say is that even if these allegations of paying 20 million, are we saying that the bandits or the terrorists, let's call them what they are, don't they have more anti-aircraft missiles? Because they said they have more there. And we have seen cases where planes have come down in this country. All right? We have seen attacks. You remember the plane that came down the other time?
Yes.
That the pilot died on the plane. You remember the other time also that we had the mishap that another plane came down that the pilot escaped to tell the story.
Yes.
So one thing is certain, these terrorists have capacity to shoot down planes in this country. I think you can't deny all those facts. Even if you are denying, okay, the 20 million, you can't deny those facts. Then the question is, how do we go in and fight them out and stop them from carrying continuous actions? Because if they have people, if they have these anti-aircraft guns, it's not safe for anybody in this country. And that's why, as the military has efforts going on in the Northeast, they should intensify it. They came out last week to say al-Banawi was dead as a result of their actions in the Northeast.
Yes.
We want to see more action. We want to see an end to this war once and for all. And these terrorists must not continue. We cannot deny the fact that these terrorists have highly sophisticated weapons, and that's why banditry, kidnapping, and everything has continued in that area.
Absolutely.
And it's scary.
Well said, Rufai. Tundu, a quick comment from you.
Yeah, because we discussed it twice on the show, but yes, just to add, Wall Street Journal is massively influential. Yes, they were criticized when Trump was president, I'm sure you recall, but they do shape opinion. That newspaper shapes opinion, and it shapes policy. If this is how they're framing Nigeria, we ought to be concerned.
Right.
And earlier I called for an investigation. I don't think it goes far enough for the Air Force to say we're denying it, no matter how vehement that denial is. There must be an investigation, because the Western media is not always right. There have been times that they were wrong. Let's make sure that this is one of those times. But beyond that, this story that you shared just now about the missionaries who were kidnapped in Haiti, you now have gangs as the second highest employer in Haiti after the government. Is this where we are heading? It's very concerning.
It is the same in
Are we not there already?
We are there.
So bad.
Are we not there already?
A couple of months ago that
is
detailed
so
that.
bad.
It is becoming a very lucrative business. Dr. Abati, I'll take another story. Over the weekend, the statement made by Babagina KingIbe, former secretary to the government of the Federation, in which he said the unity of Nigeria is negotiable, garnered mixed reactions. While receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Sun Newspaper Awards ceremony, KingIbe used the relationship between couples as an example. He explained that once a party is trying to opt out of a union, he or she must consider the pros and cons of his or her choice before making a final decision. Let's take a quick listen before we come back for a discussion.
I was born in Nigeria. I was groomed in Nigeria. And I believe in Nigeria. People of my generation believe in Nigeria. We have no doubt about the fact that we have no option but Nigeria. However, I think a few of my colleagues believe that there's no such thing as the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Of course it is negotiable. Even the unity of a family is negotiable. Even the coexistence as a couple of a husband and wife is negotiable. The moment either party feels that this union is no longer bearable, that he or she would rather go his own way, you let them have the right to sit down, consider their condition, and after, and only after, very, very, very careful, rational examination of the pros and cons of going out of the marriage, that they take the decision which suits them best. It's not enough just to say, I don't feel comfortable where I am, so I'm going. Are you sure of where you are going? Are you sure of the consequence of where you're going?
Oh, Dr. Bati, over to you for your analysis on this topic.
Okay, I mean, I think this is self-explanatory.
Yes.
Ambassador Babagana KingIbe has been right at the center of Nigerian politics, so he has an idea of what he's talking about. He was running mate to Chief MKO Abiola in the 1993 presidential election. He's been minister at various times, Minister of Internal Affairs, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Power and Steel. He's been Nigerian ambassador to a number of countries, including neighboring Chad. He's been secretary to the government of the Federation. So when he says it is Nigeria that has made him who he is, yes, he's very right in that regard, because he's been a key member of the governance and political process in Nigeria. However, the contentious part of the discourse has to do with Section 2, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution. In Section 2, subsection 1, the Constitution says very clearly that Nigeria should be an indivisible, indissoluble entity. In other words, the Constitution gives the impression that you can't divide Nigeria, you can't dissolve Nigeria. And in Section 1, subsection 3 of the same Constitution, it says that any other move or law enactment that is against the provisions of this Constitution is to the extent of its inconsistency null and void. However, some people say that 1999 Constitution cannot dictate the future of Nigeria. Some people argue, and in this regard, I think Ambassador KingIbe was referring to members of his generation who think that, yes, you can negotiate Nigeria, that Nigeria is not cast in stone, in the sense in which what some people refer to as Decree 29 of 1998, that's how some people refer to the Nigerian Constitution, and that there can be disagreements, but you come together, you discuss. You use the word mutual respect. You negotiate, and then on the basis of it, you can reach an agreement. But I don't think that the import of what he's saying is about dissolving Nigeria or people can go. In fact, it was more on the side of Nigeria staying together, but that there should be opportunity for negotiation, for discussion based on mutual respect. And that if you say you want to leave Nigeria, where are you going? You will still remain an ECOWAS citizen. You will still be an African. You will still, occupy a territory that would have been originally Nigerian. So what he's calling for is a dialogue, is conversation, is a conference around those key issues that divide us. But unfortunately in this country, we hold talks. We've had so many conferences. But in recent times, since the return to democracy in 1999, those conferences do not really yield anything. Remember, the 2005 political conference was sabotaged by the politics of third term. The 2014 political conference by the Jonathan administration, the reports are gathering the dust somewhere in the corridors of power, just because a new government said, we will not look at it because we don't agree. People are now calling for dialogue now, for a renegotiation of the terms of our union. Some people are saying you can't even have a conversation. I'm all for the idea of having a conversation around the key issues. And it's because the system appears to be resisting that opportunity for conversation and negotiation of key issues. That's why perhaps some people are saying, well, if you will not allow us to discuss the terms of the union, equity and justice and fairness, and who is a Nigerian and who should get what, then they would rather leave. But I think the message from Ambassador Babagana KingIbe is a word of caution to say that, look, we can all stay together if we respect each other.
Yes, I could swear, Tundu Abiola, that I was hearing your voice while he was speaking, because I know you have said exactly, word for word, what he said.
The same thing.
Recently on the show.
Well remembered,
yes.
And I promise you, I haven't spoken to Ambassador KingIbe recently. I should probably rectify that.
Yeah.
But I guess we agree on this issue. There is no union that cannot be negotiated, including marriage. Take note, Mr. Feni, where's my camera? Including a marriage. And dissolution and negotiation are two completely different things. You can agree to form a union, but on what terms? The terms upon which you form that union must be based on mutual respect, exactly like he said.
Absolutely.
Perfectly put.
Absolutely. Rafai, your analysis.
The sad part in our national discourse that we don't bring on the table is that very important part of mutual respect. Until we start to understand that nobody is bigger than anybody in Nigeria, then we are not ready for any conversation. And until the fact that the politicians start to understand that Nigeria is bigger than them, we are not ready. It still baffles my mind how a cross-section of Nigerians came together. They decided on a document. Federal funds were spent on that conference. Yeah. They agreed on the document. And people or the next government is not adopting that document. So we've had those conversations. It's not today. We had some in 95. We had some under Obasanjo. We had some in 2014. We're still going to have more in the future. But the political will to implement those documents is the problem. And where does the problem fall back to? The politicians, that it is only serving them now. And when you go back, it goes back to the conversation of what the APC, we forget in a hurry that the APC had a committee for restructuring. And when they had that committee, resolutions were passed, they talked, they wrote things down, and they said this is the way for restructuring. Absolutely. But the political will to adopt it is still a problem. So the politicians should understand that because it favors you today, does not mean that you shouldn't start thinking about the future of this country. And that is what has brought us where we are.
Absolutely.
We need to talk, we'll still talk more, but let's not just talk. Please, let us put action to what we say by adopting the resolutions of our conversation. That's when this country can move forward. Nobody is bigger than anybody in this country. This country is for all of us all.
Well said, Rufai. We'll take another story. A viral video over the weekend showing police officers who allegedly extorted money from travelers in Kogi State has caught the attention of the state's police command. In the video, a police officer who goes by the name Obu Godwin was seen slapping one of the travelers for challenging the extortion. Let's take a look.
Because they say, why go crack on say one shoot? Look at what Nigeria police is doing to the citizens of this country. They force one of our passengers enter motor, go withdraw money for ATM. All the drip drivers park now, say this thing is not right. He come now, they slap. They slap passengers, why not do anything? So why go talk say, why they go follow the boy go POS? Look at his face. Look at his face. He say go kill, he say blood go flow. If they not take time. Say last time a blood go share. This is where we are at Kogi State. The officer went for when lead they come is Obu Godwin, only wear uniform. When name day. One pull uniform, follow the boy, go back.
I mean, Tunde Abiola, this is, recalling the anniversary of NSARS. Just, in a few days from now, 20th of October, we're talking about police brutality. Look at what just happened here. How on earth did that police officer think that he could get away with this? The police, the Kogi State Command has ordered an investigation, and I am just waiting to hear what this Obu guy, what his charges will be.
He has completely disgraced his uniform, and exactly like you said, 1 year after NSARS, exactly what has changed.
Nothing.
When we start to count the costs in terms of billions to businesses, to property, and to see that this police brutality that sparks the whole thing off continues in this brazen fashion, it's actually quite sickening. And in Kogi State, I mean, say whatever you like about Kogi State during the COVID pandemic, at other times, but when it comes to security, they really do have it under control. Kogi State security forces should be commended. And then you now have this disgrace to his uniform. He must be penalized. And I really want to thank whoever filmed this assault and has circulated it. I'm so glad they did, because we would never have known. Absolutely. This Obu Godwin is a total disgrace to his uniform, and Absolutely. He has to face the full wrath of the law. This is kidnap. You
said it right. Rufai, you just said that you've experienced this before.
So I've experienced it. My experience was on the highway. Some custom officer wanted to fleece me off 340,000 Naira.
Wow.
And the next thing he says, bring your card to put in the
340,000 Naira?
Yes.
How'd they come up with that figure?
The scam is your custom papers for your car.
Oh.
So when they come up with that scam, the next thing they do is say, come to POS. But I sorted it out that day. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people are going through on their highways. It's obvious people in uniforms don't learn. It is obvious. And I don't just want the police, Kogi State Police Command to take it up. You know, I think the Police Service Commission, it is called, should take it up. This should be taken up. This man should be disciplined, if possible. If he's found wanting, any punishment in the book should be meted out of him. We can't have this in a country where the salaries of police officers are paid with my money, taxpayers' money. And you want to draw more taxes for me in this country.
I remember when that happened to you. It was recent.
Yeah. And you want to draw more taxes for me when I know my money is being used to pay police officer. And please, if you give them the orientation, tell these police officers that the citizens' money is used to pay them. Our money is used to pay them. And they should treat people better.
Well, very quickly, I think it's very unfortunate that, you know, when the Central Bank of Nigeria was talking about financial inclusion, and we were told, you know, there will be automated teller machines in places and people could use POS and all that to facilitate commercial transactions. It's unfortunate that today, if you carry an ATM card or you have a POS or whatever, you know, you could be a victim in the hands of a policeman organizing checkpoints and ambushing, laying ambush for people around the, you know, around the streets of Nigeria. This happened in the Okpe division, and we hope that the identity of the person having been put out there, that the police will do the needful. However, this is not an isolated case. This is what happens all the time.
Yes.
And it's not only the police that is guilty, even VIOs.
Yes.
If they arrest you, they just tell you, and the reason for arresting you may be as frivolous as you carrying a particular kind of phone, or having a laptop, which is like, you know, carrying your pen, and then they will take you to an ATM machine. A lot of people have given testimonies in this regard, and they collect the money. I think that, look, people themselves, the victims, should speak up more, because many Nigerians, you know, they just give the policeman the money, and they are free to be released. They are happy to be released. In this particular case, that policeman was saying that blood will flow. That he will shoot. He even reportedly cocked his gun in a country.
And they do that
in a country where, you know, concern has been expressed about police brutality. Last year we had from October 10 to October 20 protests across the country against policemen. So these policemen, they seem not to have learned from history. They seem not to have the capacity to learn. There is a problem of indiscipline within the police. And the Inspector General of Police that is there, Usman Alkali Baba, this is something that he should look into. We have many, you know, Inspectors Generals of Police coming to that position. One of the first things they do, they will say, oh, they've cancelled their checkpoints, but those checkpoints are still there.
Yes.
They will say they've cancelled stop and search. Those stop and search operations are still going on, and they are targeting young, innocent Nigerians.
Again.
All you need to do is carry a laptop or have an iPad, and you are classified as a criminal. That is unacceptable.
Less than 1 year.
Especially iPhones. Especially iPhone, Dr. Abati.
Right.
People that use iPhone are dangerous species in this
Any
country.
Smartphone.
Any iPhone especially.
Any
Thank you all.
smartphone at all.
This is really sad. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.